Hey guys, if you like what you're seeing, be sure to click below to subscribe and share.
It's not just about the photograph, it's the outdoor experience. Keep in mind everything that you need to know about photography. F-stop, shutter speed, lens selection. Nice photo. I've got beautiful light now. Oh my God. I'm your host, Doug Gardner, and your wild photo adventure starts now. You know, I can remember as a young child having dreams of coming face to face with wild animals and just being completely speechless and paralyzed by this overwhelming excitement. Now, 40 years later, I still experience those same feelings. Join myself and Michael Mauro this week as we photograph elk in Rocky Mountain National Park. I'm your host, Doug Gardner, and your wild photo adventure starts now. Oh yeah, look, we got some animals out here in this little pond. That might make a good shot. Tell you what, before we do this, I'm gonna get rid of some of this rain gear. It looks like it's starting to slack off a little bit.
I see an elk down there too.
This is a good area, I believe.
I think so.
There it goes. Sounding off.
It's like he doesn't want to go too loud because he don't want to bring too many people over.
Yeah, he didn't want to bring the big boy over that he knows is bigger than him, but he wants to run off the little guy that's smaller than he is.
Right.
All right, there he goes. He finally got up out of that little depression.
Yeah, I think he's going to come over and look for his cows.
Come on.
Oh, he's going to get a big drink.
Oh, yeah.
He's been bugling too much.
Well, if you call that bugling what he was doing, that was a pretty sorry example.
He's got some pretty antlers.
Yes, he does. Really unique. Much more non-typical than what you're used to seeing.
You know, and a lot of people don't know a lot about these antlers. See how he's got white tips on the end of it?
Mm-hmm.
And all that color comes from the sap in these trees. And then the willows.
Oh, yeah.
And they're constantly rubbing on them, but then they get those white tips because they're not really paying attention to the tips. They're just rubbing they get in there. And some bulls, you get really, really dark and really white tips. He's about middle. He's more gray than he is dark, more than a dark brown, but it's still really pretty.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful, beautiful. And those white tips really make him stand out. You know, it's those little moments that you got to look for. You got to kind of anticipate what is happening while it's happening to know when to trip that shutter. You know, if you actually see what you're hoping to get a shot of through the viewfinder, that you didn't get it, because it's already happened.
That's right. That's exactly right.
That was nice. I missed it.
You saw it through the viewfinder.
Yeah, I saw it through the viewfinder.
Oh, seriously, dude.
With the clutter that we do have, using a large f-stop like 5.6, which is what I'm shooting at right now, it helps isolate some of that blur, all that debris. Right. You know, the name of the game is clean up your scene as best you can. And that makes your subject pop out of the scene. And that's one of the things that can really make your images stand out above the rest.
Well, we're kind of losing a little bit of light here.
I should say.
Maybe what we ought to do is go back to the truck, regroup, walk down this trail. What do we got, about a mile to go?
Yeah, we got a good ways, yeah.
There's some elk right over there. So what we're gonna have to do is be pretty stealthy. Once you get off the roads, these elk are kind of cagey.
Okay.
I mean, they'll tolerate us.
Right.
But I think if we can just kind of slide in there, sneak in there and get us a little shooting spot.
Right.
There's a couple of herds, so I think we might be able to get some pretty cool images. See those on the other side of those trees?
Yeah.
We'll just get down below those.
All right, we're not gonna go all the way out in the opening. Stay back in the shade line of the tree.
Yeah.
See how they're gonna act.
And
They may be
slow.
fine. Yeah.
Take it slow.
All right, let's do it. Doesn't look like anybody's even seen us yet. Or either they don't care.
You know, it's a good thing we got a little moisture, because it's kind of quiet walking.
Let's just stop here for a bit. I think we're gonna be all right. I think these are some of the animals that actually are accustomed to seeing people, but they're not acting very spooky. You know, you just never know when you get off the beaten path where you're gonna run into, you know, animals that are gonna let you approach them, or animals that are gonna get it out of you. We got another bull coming in. We might be getting ready to have some fun.
Well, see these cows over here? It looks like they're wanting to come this way. But look at that bull. He's coming.
Yeah,
He
he's
doesn't
coming right
want
to
them
us.
coming over here, so he's going to kind of cut them off at the pass.
This is a nice sized herd. Well, it's actually two herds. We got them over here with one bull, and then we got some right here with another bull.
Oh, did you hear that?
Yeah.
That guy's bugling.
Yep.
This guy's returning the bugle. We might get some good action. We might have some interaction between the two bulls. I'm going to go on this bull over here on the right. He's a little broken too.
Yeah, but he is definitely the bigger of the two.
Yeah, definitely. He's been doing a little fighting.
Now that is behavior. Look at him. He's tilting his head back and bugling. You know, out of all of the animals in the deer family, elk are by far my favorite thing to photograph. You know, I don't know what it is. It's just something about being in their presence. You know, I don't know if it's the big two-tone bodies with the towering antlers above the head. Or
I agree with you. I think the elk are probably the most fun to shoot. I think the reason is they're probably the most active.
yeah.
All right, this guy's gonna move over.
Yeah.
You know, I think this guy over here is moving this way too. And if they come together, it's gonna be pretty cool. I call it the dance.
Yeah.
So they're gonna come together and they're not gonna go fighting. They're sizing each other up. They're kind of walking side by side. Oh, check that out.
Yeah. There you go. All right, they're coming toward each other. Coming toward each other. Look at that. They just come right to each other and turn, and now they're just parallel.
Man, I
back
got
and
too
forth.
much lens to get them both too. I'm gonna have to get one or the other. But now see how they're going side by side?
Yeah, yeah.
And now they're going down. Now they're getting into a range where I can actually shoot them both.
They get a little bit farther, I can get both animals in the same shot. I love hearing that bugle. I mean, it's hard to believe that an animal that big can make that high-pitched squealing sound.
You know, when they do it over and over, you think your vocal cords would be gone by the end of the day. Well, look at that. You know what? I think they might just fight. Each one of those bulls wants as many cows as they can get. So they're gonna kind of try to see if anybody's injured or hurt, or they're just sizing each other up. Oh, here they go.
Oh yeah,
No.
look at that. Look, check it out. There it go. There it goes. Oh my gosh. Thank you, 10 frames a second.
You can never have too many shots of this.
Oh, come on, buffering. God. Come on.
I just had to adjust my shutter speed. Because you want to give it up, there's lots of action.
Oh yeah, sure. But I think I'm all right. I'm 1,200 of a second.
Yeah, I think if you get up around 1,000, look at that dirt finder.
Very cool. All right. All right, they've broken apart. That was cool. I'm not believing we got that.
You know, this wildlife photography is 10% work, 90% luck.
That's right.
But you create
got to
your own
stay
luck.
out. That's right. You got to stay out in the woods for that luck to happen. So cool. Looks like we're getting a little break in the weather. I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing off. Rain cover.
It's kind of a pain.
It is a pain.
You like my high-tech cover?
That's kind of embarrassing, Mike. What is
You know
that?
what? It's my Gore-Tex jacket.
Hey,
So-
if it works.
I'd rather get wet. I don't want this to get wet.
No. All right, check out the big bull on the right. He's going and checking all of his cows. Going up to them and sniffing them. Still trying to check, see which one's ready, to be bred. Even though they're all close to that peak estrus,
Right.
still one that's going to come in first. And he's going to monitor that constantly. And he's also letting that other guy know those are his.
Right. He's constantly, working that herd. And the name of the game is continue his genes, right?
That's right.
That's what he wants to
Well,
do.
he's got some nice genes. That is a beautiful, beautiful bull. He's not the biggest I've seen, but he is a nice one.
No, and he'd be even nice if he didn't have that one broken point,
Hey, but that's nature. That shows what happens when they do get in these battles.
Exactly.
When you have a lot of action going on in front of you just like this, the main subject here is these bulls fighting each other, and then the individual bulls turning and looking at you or looking back over their shoulder at their cows. That's the subject. So when I'm trying to focus, it's easy to kind of be distracted. I like to really focus in on the eye of the animal. Even though in my viewfinder I've got both bulls in my frame, I'm watching the corners of my frame just to make sure that I don't clip them or there's not something distracting in my background, but my real focus is right in on the eyeball of the animal. That's what you want to make sure is in sharp focus. If the eye of your animal is not in sharp focus, it's a terrible shot.
One of the best pointers I can give in a situation like this is to not stop shooting. Too many people shoot a situation like we just had, where we had the two elk fighting, and they take all these pictures and they get these great pictures, and what they want to do is stop and look at the pictures or talk to their little buddy and say, wow, look at this, check this out. Don't stop until everything is done. Wait till the animals are gone, then take time to talk to your buddy or look at the pictures. Another really good tip for a situation like this is I'm using a 600, which means I'm really isolating one animal at a time, unless they get really far away, and then sometimes I can get 2 or 3 animals. But in this situation where we've got 2 bulls coming together, if they're not far away, there's no way I'm gonna get both of them in the same frame. So what I always do is I always carry my 70 to 200, which gives me the ability to let go of this, and then I can pull up and I get a much wider view of what I'm gonna be shooting. And now I can get both bulls, and if they come closer to me, then I can widen out and still get both bulls. With this, I might be just shooting their eyeball and that's about it, which is a cool shot, but I'm gonna tell a better story if I can get a wide angle when they're close.
This has been awesome. I mean, how many times do you get a great fight and then all the great portraits too?
Like I said earlier, I think this happens every day, but it happens in places where you never get to see it.
Right.
So to see something like that, that's like once in a lifetime for so many people.
This is pretty cool. It looks like though he's run the other bull off and his harem. All the cows are starting to lay down. I think they're pretty content. It looks like they're just gonna sit there and chew their cud for a while.
But I've heard some bugling back over here too. This park is full of elk, so I think if we head off this direction, we might find some more.
Let's go try it. $266,000 acres of absolute beauty.
Pristine.
This is an amazing place. You are so lucky to live so close to an area like this.
It's a pretty cool place. I photograph all over the world, but I probably spend more time in Rocky Mountain National Park than any place I get.
How long have you been shooting?
Almost 20 years.
Wow. I bet you've seen a lot.
I have. I've seen all the seasons are really cool. Where we're at right now, the fall, by far and away my favorite.
Absolutely.
But I've seen a ton here.
So what got you into photography?
I worked for the National Park Service, and one of my jobs one summer was to take this professional photographer out. I was out there, got exposed to it, and went out and bought my first camera and just stuck with it.
I noticed you have, your own little style. everything from, beautiful portraits that really tell a story to, environmental portraits.
You're exactly right. Everybody has that style, and that's part of the time. That's 20 years worth of, you know what, I like that. And everybody has their own likes. So you just figure out, that works for me. I think that you can fall into a rut there too. So you want to be kind of changing it. You want to add to it. You want to do a lot of the things that you can learn in this show just to constantly improve. You never stop learning. I've been doing it forever, but I'll tell you what, every day is a learning experience.
Absolutely, yeah. And if you're not learning anything, you're not pushing yourself hard enough. It's location, 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 what you've always heard. But even in ugly places, you can find, some beautiful imagery if you take the time and get out and look. But places like this, it makes the job a little bit easier.
Rocky Mountain National Park is an awesome place to photograph elk because we got so many.
Right.
But it also presents a problem. If you look at the trunks of all these aspen trees, they're all scarred up because in the winter when there's nothing to eat, they eat the bark off the aspens.
They actually eat this.
They eat that. And you can't find an aspen stand in this park that's not looking like this.
If you look right here, you can see some fresh gnaw marks. That's pretty cool. And look how high they can reach with their mouth.
Oh yeah.
That's
well,
incredible.
And you see, if you look through the forest, you'll see that line.
Yeah,
that's about as
line.
high as an elk can reach.
Wow. Another cool thing about aspen trees is if you take it and rub it, you'll see there's a white powder right here. And the Native Americans actually used to use this as a sunscreen on their body, rub it all over their body, protect them during the summer months.
Can't go wrong there.
Pretty cool. Let's keep rolling. I tell you, you never know what you're gonna see out here. Walking along, just saw this little beautiful mule deer buck laying down. He's just sitting up there chewing his cud. You never pass up an opportunity.
A lot of times when you're out here, you can't just keep your eyes on the elk. You gotta kind of open it up. You gotta think about what else is here, because you're in a beautiful place.
Absolutely.
So you might as well shoot a few scenics if you're here and the light's right, or if there aren't any elk around.
Well, this was really nice.
It sure is, but you know what? We're burning some daylight here, and the elk should be coming out and frolicking around in the big old fields that we got, so let's go see if we can find something.
Sounds good.
You hear that?
Hear the aspen. We're close. Mike, this is a pretty bull, I tell you. I mean, all elk are pretty to me, but he's just got good symmetry on his antlers.
He does. You know, that last tine looks a little bit, they're a little bit different on each side, but for the most part, everything is pretty symmetrical till you get to that point. And he's a pretty big bull.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not some giant guy, but he's pretty common for what you see here in Rocky Mountain National Park.
He would be kind of your good standard, is what you call this one.
He's a good herd bull.
Yeah.
You know, he's big enough to have his own harem. He can protect his own harem. He can gather his own cows, but he's not a monster. But he's definitely he's the typical genes that you would see pass through these herds. You know, it's pretty interesting how a couple of these cows actually have collars.
Yeah, but you know, they screw up your pictures.
Yeah, they do, but you know, it's part of telling the story.
Yeah.
They are doing tons of studies on these elk in this park. They're overpopulated. There are too many elk. We kind of talked about it when we looked at those aspen trees and how...
All the damage.
Yeah, all the damage. So I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to figure out, where do these elk roam? How far do they go? You know, what patterns do they have? Do they stay in aspen forests in the summer? Do they stay above alpine areas? Do they come down here in the valleys? Generally not. As far as I know, and I have a biology degree, but I don't study these elk.
Right.
Most of the time, if you come up here in July, in this park, you can get up to 12,000 feet pretty easily. That's where you're going to see most of the elk all summer long. They're trying to get away from the bugs. They're staying cooler up there. So in the summer, you're going to see pretty much all the elk are going to be up above alpine. As the season moves along, as we move into fall, then they start filtering down. Just like what we got a little bit of snow on the mountains over the last few days, right? So that's going to start pushing these elk down a little lower. And so all fall, you'll see them down in these lower elevations within the park.
This is beautiful. It really is. She's trying to make a run for it.
Yeah.
Got one cow that's kind of broken away from the rest of the harem.
He's going to cut her off. He's going to bring her back. You know, look how much bigger he is than that cow.
You know, it's amazing just the size of these animals, period. From a photograph, you really cannot get a true sense of how big these animals are. There's 6 species of elk. The largest of those species is the Roosevelt elk, which you generally find in the Pacific Northwest. And these, the Rocky Mountain elk, you find them from New Mexico all the way up through central British Columbia. So the Rocky Mountain elk is just slightly smaller than the Roosevelt. Really, it's hard to tell the difference. You know, 100-pound difference is not much on an animal this size.
They can actually lose up to 150 pounds during the rut because they're just working so hard to try to keep their herds together, keep other bulls fended off. They spend a good part of the winter trying to recuperate that, and it depends on the severity of the winter as how many of these guys actually survive.
I was hoping I wasn't going to come all the way to Colorado and just shoot elk in the rain. I wanted some elk and sunshine. That's what I'm getting. We've been pretty fortunate today. We've had overcast skies and some rain, and now just a few minutes ago it broke out in the full sun. So this is nice. We're getting the best of both worlds.
And look behind us. We're about to lose our sun because we got some big storms rolling in.
Photographing elk in the Colorado Rocky Mountains is an experience second to none in North America. More information about this week's show and Michael Mauro's work is available online. And remember, it's not just about a photograph, it's the outdoor experience. I'm your host, Doug Gardner. Thank you for joining me on another wild photo adventure. I was hoping I wasn't gonna come all the way to come all the way to Kuala Waba. Every scenario, as you come up on I done gotten it, wild photo adventures, and I have to do these cuts over and over again. Yeah.
Like you know?
Like Mike, this is like so cool, dude. You know, like we went across the pasture, like there was a bunch of elks in there, like, oh my gosh, OMG, you're my BFF, and we got elk everywhere. Like, oh my God, dude. That'll work.
Hey guys, if you like what you're seeing, be sure to click below to subscribe and share.